My name is Daniel Lawrence. I started off at Middleton, and then I went to Beto. I did MTC time for probably about a year and a half. It was good there. I was a pretty little pre-release unit. So what I did there, I had got G5 for beating my celly with a fan motor. You're saying so. Had found out my celly was a sex offender. So when I went in the cell, my celly was masturbating on pictures of my stepdaughter and my mom and stuff. So I went and took matters into my own hand, and which that didn't lead out to very well. So I'm saying I got 3.5 years G5. We were cool at first, man. I had found I didn't think to question my celly and saying because he was blasting, he was talking blast. So I had found out that he was whenever I had beat him with the fan motor and shit, he had got life flighted off the unit. Well, I had went back to they sent me to an infirmary because they had so much blood on me and stuff from the incident that had happened. I went back to the cell after I had cleared infirmary, and I went through his paperwork and stuff like that, and I found out that he was a registered sex offender 3 times, continuous sexual assault on a child. So after they had already retaliated against me, you know what I'm saying, they had hit me with a fan motor, cracked my head open. I had went to the speaker over there and gave him his paperwork and like, look, y'all got a sex offender that's running with y'all. So, you know what I'm saying, they did their little paperwork investigation and shit, and they had sent word out to wherever he was at. And I guess took care of him, take him off the roster or whatever what they had going on and shit.
Were you affiliated with any kind of gang?
At first, I was speaking for the Woods over there at Beto unit, and then I had, you know what I'm saying, when I went to Michael's unit, the White Knights had tried to approach me and shit, but I did a little prospecting for them and shit, and then you know what I'm saying, they told me that I couldn't be with any Mexican women and shit. That's my life is Mexican women. They told me I couldn't talk to my half kids and shit. So you know what I'm saying, I backed out of that shit because that's not me. I'm not down with the whole racist. You know what I'm saying? I'm not down with all that. So just went back, just being me and saying just did my time how I wanted to do my time. So I didn't have to speak for anybody or do none of that shit. So I just went back to doing my own little time. I mean, just other lockdown incidents wherever I've seen this black dude get stabbed in the face by a couple Mexicans because he had put the pot on lockdown and shit. Where we came off lockdown, I was walking in Chow and I got these Mexicans behind me. I got the black dude, I guess they had put us on lockdown. Put them on lockdown in front of me. And I hear the Mexicans in the background talking about, hey man, I'm gonna stab this motherfucker, dog. I'm gonna stab him. Look, I guess whatever Mexican was speaking, I guess he had held some rank. So I guess he told one of the dudes, look, I got a life sentence. He said, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna run up, I'm gonna stab the dude. I'm gonna give you the weapon, and you just dispose of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. I'll get locked up for it or whatever. So whenever I hear him saying, I'm gonna hand you the weapon, I stop. Whenever I stop, the Mexicans go around me and they run to that black dude and hit him in the cheek with a little banger, probably about 3 inches long, hit him in the cheek with that bitch, hit him twice, pow, pow. And I just turned around and started walking back to the chow hall. Like I didn't see shit. So they had took off running whenever the dude had went to infirmary because it was on camera. So the dude had pulled me out. The GI pulled me out and he asked me if I seen anything. And once again, it's all about respecting there, you know what I'm saying? Snitching is you don't snitch in there, so that's me if I see anything. I told him no, I didn't see anything. I don't know who the guys were. All I seen was like just some figures running around me because my adrenaline was rushing. But I didn't really tell him anything. I didn't tell him none of that shit because I didn't want to be stabbed in the face. So I was let it go.
What kind of mistakes did you see, like new people coming into the system? What kind of mistakes do they make all the time?
A lot of new people, they get involved with the Toon game, the K2. You know, it's a paper K2 that people be getting in the mail and all this shit. Law enforcement be bringing it in. I mean, they do a lot of smoking drugs and doing shit like that, and don't want to go to school, don't want to go to classes. Ends up in write-ups, and it helps violate your parole. Not attending classes and doing stuff like that. I already started that 15-day lockdown stuff. And for like, if you were smoking K2 in the day room, you were found slumped out in the day room. Slumped out is like if you were asleep in the day room. They put the whole pod on lockdown for 15 days. They take your tablet, they turn the phone off. There's no inmate movement, no visitation, and none of that. I had an incident where one of the white guys that went slumped down in the day room. After the 15-day lockdown, after you get 15-day lockdown, no duck and dodging the consequences that would come behind that. So after the 15-day lockdown came up, you know what I'm saying, we all entered the day room. They let us off lockdown. There's a lot of people who's going to be pissed off about that kind of stuff. Missing their visitation with their kids, their family, their moms and shit. So whenever they came off lockdown, we entered the day room and shit, and they just beat the shit out of them. They hit him with the fan motor. Well, they wound up they stomped that white dude out, you know what I'm saying? Fucked his head up. Did a lot of crazy shit into him, like beat the shit out of him. And put him in infirmary and shit. So yeah, I
Dang.
mean that's pretty one of the crazy shit right there. I mean I've seen people jump off 3 row high on that K2, thought they could fly, do all kind of weird shit on that K2, jumping off 3 row, breaking his legs, his femur. I've heard of one case when I was in the infirmary. There was a white dude that was in there. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of real nerdy. He was in there for a sex case. You know what I'm saying? So I mean they take sex cases very seriously in there. They frown upon that shit because it could be in your kid that was sexually assaulted by the guy. So I mean, he had a cellie. They had raped him multiple times and shit, strong on him, kept him in the cell, and he just raped him a couple times. Rape is serious in there too. It does happen, not as often as it used to, but it does happen.
So he was accused of doing it to minors. So his
Yeah,
cellie did it to him.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't think they did anything to it. As far as what I know, they did to his cellie was put him on lockdown and just moved the dude that was assaulted, moved him to another unit, saying put him in PC, protective custody.
How important is respect inside?
It's very important. You know what I'm saying? Respect is everything in there. You know what I'm saying? All you got is your respect in there. So everybody lives by respect. You say something, you do it, you owe a debt, you pay that debt. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, respect is very important in there because you're surrounded by nothing but men in there. So at the end of the day, it's all about your respect, the way you carry yourself to everybody else. The K2 and the tablets, they got the tablets in there. The tablets slowed everything down. You can squeeze through prison without getting into a fight, without having to join a clique or get gang affiliated and all that. You don't have to get gang affiliated just to be protected in there. You just keep your nose clean and stay out of the way, and you can squeeze through the cracks and make it through there.
Yeah.
Just sign up for classes, sign up for school. You know what I'm saying? Don't waste your time because you're in there, the time don't stop. You know what I'm saying? So just make the best out of your time. Make the best out of every war situation.
Would you say that joining a gang is the wrong way to go?
I mean, in a way, yeah, it is. Yes, I regret clicking up. I'm not gonna have another man speak to me, speak to how what I got to do and what I can do, and like tell me go over there and fight that dude because he's scared to go fight. You know what I'm saying? So he want to crash you out. So I mean, yeah, it's not a good way to go.
You're responsible for the next man's actions. How's that feel?
That happens a lot because people get in there and they get into the K2 debts, and then they'll catch out. And which catch out means you leave off the wing or leave off the unit, and then that leaves the set to pay for the debts. Because if you don't pay for the debts, say it could lead into other problems and everything. So I mean, it's pretty crappy having to keep up with other people's responsibilities and as a man and keep it handle their own business. I've been in a like not really a gang war, just a little riot. It was just some bloods, some Crips, and some whites and shit. You know what I'm saying? Some altercation that went down. And just it led a little further than it should have went, and it's like probably like 20, 30 people fighting, but not really no serious lock down the whole unit type of riot.
I don't remember. Did we say why you got locked up?
No, I got locked up for drugs, assaulting a police officer, and evading arrest. Latest favorite trade was probably the pork and rice. You know what I'm saying? Pork and rice. I get tired of pork rolls. I mean, you feed you a lot of pork, especially at Beto. You feed you a lot of pork, and you never know. You buy or the chicken soup, you bite into it and have it pull out a big ass bone, break your tooth on a pork rib or something. You're saying it's all grounded up.
You said they feed you a lot of pork up there.
A lot of pork.
I bet the Muslims hated that.
Hell yeah. They got their own little line. You know what I'm saying? They go through there and get their pork free, which is pork free is pretty much peanut butter and jelly or a meat sandwich or a cheese sandwich. You get tired of peanut butter and jelly and cheese sandwiches after a while.
Some young people think, that they got to go to prison to become a man. They think it's a badge of honor.
No, not
Would you
really. It's not. It's
could
not a
you let
badge
them
of
know
honor.
that they could lose their life in there?
Yeah, you could lose your life. Very well lose your life just in a matter of seconds. You know, shit turns like snapping a snap of the fingers. You could lose your life. You could accidentally smoke some K2, pop up. Like I said, everything's in there wrapped with fentanyl. So anything in there you could die at any given time. You could freeze to death. You could die of dehydration from heat exhaustion. Because this trip I was in there, I was as cold as I've ever been and as hot as I've ever been. So I mean, it gets cold as hell, and now you walk in your cell, you got icicles hanging out your bunk and beat on shit. Because in the summertime, they bust out all the windows. So when the winter comes, ain't no windows up to block out all the cold. So it'd be 18 degrees outside. It's 17 degrees inside. So I mean, you can lose your life at any minute in there. So
Man, I
Yeah,
bet you guys were like, did you guys like have homemade heaters and stuff?
yeah, we had stingers where we little wires. We drop in a bucket of water, put off a lot of steam. Had our blankets up over the bars. Saying so,
Man,
we had our little heaters in there. All kind of concoctions going on in there.
did you how important is it to have support, like family calling you every day? How important is that to somebody?
Support is a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because it means a lot. You know, just be able to go to the phone, pick it up, and just have family support. You know, somebody you can call, vent to, have commissary. I mean, time goes by a little bit easier in there whenever you have a phone. You can go and call somebody and just vent and just have a little bit of communication with the outside world. So I mean, I would say communication is gold in there. So don't burn your bridges and then burn them out. So
Did you see people, get on them drugs and like really just burn their bridges?
yeah, I've seen that a lot. I've seen people smoke hundreds of $100 of dope a day, calling their mom. Their mom's disabled. You know what I'm saying? Get a monthly check, but they're getting in debt. So they're calling their mom. Their mom tell them no. So they just start fake crying just to cry, just to give their mom a pity party. So they be like, or just cuss their mom out. Mom, I need money. You know what I'm saying? So they're cussing their mom out, all kind of shit, just to
Y-
get money.
Yeah, that's one thing with my channel. I try to like bring prison to the outside, and I want people just because imagine like being on the outside, like regular people, they're on the outside, they owe somebody, it's not a big deal. But when you owe somebody in prison, you got to wake up and see
Yeah,
that person every day.
hell yeah, ain't no running from them.
That feeling you get when you owe somebody and you feel them plotting on you, like that's a feeling you will never, you know what I'm saying? Do you do what could they do to improve the prison system to rehabilitate people?
They could, I don't know, just change a little bit of the little crimes. You know what I'm saying? Like under the gram. A lot of people get caught with under grams and just get habitual charges and do time over that.
A lot of people they join gangs because they want protection. They're scared. Would you
Yeah,
say that somebody can be a civilian and still, have a good bid?
absolutely, absolutely. Yes, you could definitely make it without getting in a gang. You could just like I said, just stay out the way. Just do your time, go to classes, and get you a trait down there and make something out of your time.
And how did the COs treat y'all down there?
Um, some of them treat you like normal human beings, but the other ones they treat you like shit. They don't like you could have something seriously wrong with you, or somebody they could like some of them could be like tied into the other gangs and shit, and just don't give a fuck. They could just witness you get your ass whooped and do nothing about it. Some of them see you with a black eye. You know what I'm saying? They want to take you to the lieutenant's office and question you and all kind of shit. Just certain ones care for you, some ones don't. Some of them come there for a paycheck. Some of them come there to actually make a difference.
So would you say that police corruption inside of prison is real?
Yes, very real.
All right. So since getting out of prison, how's that affected you?
It's, I mean, my life has changed a lot. I'm saying I got out of prison back in 2025, and I've currently gotten married. I'm saying I'm going on a year and a half sober. So it's changed me a lot. I've learned to move past all that kinks and stuff in my life, and you know what I'm saying, be drug free, sober. You know what I'm saying, I'm enjoying being out.
Did you bring home any negative things like paranoia? Did you steal
Yeah,
weapons still?
paranoia, PTSD. Like whenever I first got out, the little kinks and sounds. You know what I'm saying. I don't like people behind me. Saying I always put my back to a wall when I'm standing in front of a crowd of people. Don't like a bunch of people around me.